Tonight's episode is brought to you in part by Jegna Klub TV and Wilson's Pizza and Grill.
This from my pops, California coastlines, living out my real mind. Now it's really showtime. Now it's how I draw a line. From the fake and real, that's how it feels when you multi. But let's not forget all of the giants I want to step down. Scared that their positions can't be taken with a new sound.
Good afternoon. I am First Things First. Don't forget the coach. Then comes Mo.
And I'm Jabrelle, Jenee.
And we are here with the Evening Social Podcast. But this here is an exclusive interview today. All right, this is in conjunction with District record label. So I want to say something about, I usually bring our guests on, so I got to say a couple things to bring this guest on. First of all, this is not going to be like any other interview that we've done. This year is going to be totally different. Second of all, the person that we have with us today, this person here is really history. They say a lot of different things, but I'm calling it from where I see it. He's history from taking care of our community. He's history when it comes to basketball and AAU. He's history when it comes to standing tall. He's history when it comes to taking care of the community. That's my take on it. That's how we're going to go. But what I'm talking about is today, we have Mr. Myron Piggie Sr. today.
Yeah.
Amen. Thank you. I appreciate being here. It's an honor to be able to sit down with you and my sister. I'm looking forward to this. It's a blessing.
I'm so excited to have you.
Man, we're excited. I was excited to be able to have a conversation with you and to just do this because two things. The Jegna Klub, that's our not-for-profit organization. Part of the word Jegna. Jegna means not afraid to speak truth to power.
Amen.
Jegna also means a person that will die for their community, a person that is more about their community than self. And that's what I see you as, one of those people. You asked one time to somebody that interviewed you, and you said, do you think I'm a bad person? And I think sometimes people get bad reputations when they are willing to take care of their community. They're willing to take care because everybody don't understand everything. They don't understand really the behind the scenes or the motives that bring things out or that happens. And so today we want to be able to provide this platform for us to talk about your upbringing, your life, your journey to where you are today and how it comes from the perspective from you. That's what we'd like to do today.
Amen.
All right. So
I like that, bro.
I got to start with a couple things just to kind of get in here because our platform does talk to youth and our community. So I first got to ask you, if we were to ask you what your profession is, what would you say?
My profession is just surviving this life.
Yeah.
Taking one day at a time, man. Where I came from, just being grateful that God still had me on His earth.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's nothing. I'm a simple dude. I don't ask for much. I just try to stay in my lane. I've been through a lot, and as long as God give me the breath and wake up every day, that's my profession.
Okay.
It's just simple.
Living.
Man, I love that.
Living.
I love that. One of the reasons I asked that is because we cater toward our youth and toward our community. And so our biggest thing is being able to put in front of them people who look like them, people who are from where they're from, have the similar situations that they may be going through, but have made it through and are on the positive side of where they're taking their life. And I think you are the epitome of that. you are that person who have made it through, and you will stay positive and still do things for our community. So that's why I'm asking certain questions. I'll go back and ask things. It's not for any other reason, but to make sure that our youth who are going to be looking at this can understand how they can transcend their lives, no matter where they are from or start, how they can get to where they're doing positive things.
And that's important. You know, my regret, I have several regrets. Mm-hmm. My regret is that I wasn't able to go back to the community the way I wanted to after all my trials and tribulations, and to be able to speak to the community, their youth. The side of town, which is Missouri side, with my lifestyle, I feel that I was blackballed on that side. So it's important that you get the opportunity to talk to the youth and help youth. And I never got that opportunity because it was like Myron Piggie, they shut me down. Mm-hmm. And I regret that because I feel that the way God brought me and how he brought me through, I feel that I could have helped a lot of guys and y'all and young people in the community on both sides of the thing. I don't look at Kansas, I don't look at Missouri. I just look at, us. Yeah. I think we all together, we 5 minutes away. I regret that I haven't been able to sit in front of youth. That guys are killing each other and young guys are killing each other, guys are going to prison. And you got shootouts and this and that and other. I feel that if I had the opportunity to go in front of youth, I feel that I could have made some kind of difference. Maybe, I don't know how big a difference, but I could have put a dent in something. Yeah. And that opportunity never presented itself. Because I was, like yesterday, I was on a podcast, and I was like, hey, the pen is very powerful. And when people write something about you, black community, black people listen to what they write. It ain't necessarily true, but they listen to what they write. And with the things that they was writing about me, I wouldn't even want to be with me. I would run for me also, because it wasn't nothing positive. It was always negative. So at the end of the day, the community, I would love to help the community and do more for the community when I was able to do for the community.
Well, we hoping that this is the start. I'm hoping that one of the reasons why my brother Joe put us together is because that's what we do. We have opportunities for you to be able to speak to the youth, and we want authentic and realness. The number one thing that we deal with is relationship building. Amen. The number two thing is the fact that every one of us has somebody that we emulated. Somebody we looked up to, like, hey, I like how they dress, or that's what I want to be. It's somebody, we had somebody that we thought about that. So we need to put in front of our youth people who they can realistically see themselves coming from that. Oh, I can see myself in him. I can see myself in her. I can see myself, and that's what catches. Because we all know this. A white shirt and a tie is not going to catch a lot of our community kids and all that. We got to put in front of them people that can emulate. So I'm hoping this is the start of some things that we have with some programs that we can put you in front of some kids, because I think you have a great story, and I do believe in exactly what you said. You can make a dent in some of the things that our youth are going through and into there. Yeah.
That's all I mean.
Yeah.
Something. We all just trying to make a dent.
That's just the whole. That's the key is the platform, the opportunity. I always say if I get an opportunity, you won't regret it. Opportunity is to and far. I never got a lot of opportunities once I started getting a lot of bad press in the public and in the papers. Everything happens. Oh, the press, they write it, but they never write the end results. And that's when God stepped in.
Yeah.
God stepped in my life where, you know, one time I was looking at 150 years. God's looking good.
150.
God stepped up. You know, and I was telling the judge one time, I'm like, Judge, Your Honor, I'm looking at 150 years. I can't do 150 years. You know what the judge told me? Son, do your best. And I look at that as that was depressing, but at the same time is that was what man had to say.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I went back before him, sentencing, and God put it on his heart. He gave me 10 years in the federal penitentiary, but he also gave me 5 years probation. So man can say anything, but God got the final say. So, you know, it just comes down to the opportunities. And
Now is a good opportunity
now it's a great opportunity.
for you to turn all your adversity into something positive.
I like that. That's real, and that's what we doing today. You know, Joe and Pierre and Darren, you know, and you too. You know, it's time to be able to turn negativity into positive. And you know, the tongue is very powerful. If you speak negative, you're gonna get negative.
Yes.
If you speak positive through the word of God, you're gonna get positive.
Yes.
And the thing is, right now, is all the negativity was written by about me, 3,000 or more articles. I can't claim that because that came from man. I got to claim what came from God and what God had, because if it was up to man, I wouldn't be here.
I think it's very interesting that a lot of the time what people mean for your demise right now, like, I think is a real good setup for you. You got a lot going on for you. You get the opportunity to tell your story, and that's a part of your story. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a part of your story. I don't know that the youth that God intended for you to reach today would be you would be able to reach without going through the stuff that you went through, without those things that were written about you. You know what I mean? Because it make you want to know more about you.
Yeah.
My life is very interesting, and the way I grew up, I came from a family of 12.
Man, did I give you my notes? Because I'm about to ask you about that. Was where we was going to.
This is the Holy Spirit always speaks.
Yes, sir.
You know, I came up with a family of 12, 6 brothers, 6 sisters. We were a street family. You know what? And the thing is, I'm not ashamed of that.
Shouldn't be.
Because the things that we went through, you know, people don't realize that back in the day, it was big families back then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you had families on the streets. We had family fights in the neighborhood, on the block fights. We had family fights. But after we had family fights, next day everybody kind of come together and say, okay, y'all got us, so we all cool again. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But nowadays we don't have that. We don't have that community where you can say, hey, we had family fights, we cool. You know,
Yeah.
I don't even know if that even exists no more.
I don't
But-
think nobody fighting no more.
But where I came from and my history is that I'm not ashamed of my history. I have, like I said, come from 12. I had a brother you go back and do research on him, he was a gangster.
I was going to ask you about your brother. That you had 2 brothers that I read about that were murdered through gun violence.
Yeah.
One when you were 20, the other later.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask you about that.
The one 20 was my idol.
Where do you fall in line with him?
Well, I'm the 4th youngest.
4th youngest.
Out of 12.
Okay. Out of 12. You're 4th youngest out of 12. Okay.
And I'm the 2nd youngest male in the family.
Okay. So,
So-
out of 6, you're the
I got a younger
fourth.
brother.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one younger brother.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but my brother, as his history, he was my idol.
Okay.
And the way he grew up was the way I grew up.
Okay.
And that was just an environment. You can't sit up and say, oh, this is a bad person. This was the environment. That's the environment we grew up in.
Yeah.
And out of all my brothers, he was the one that chose me. When he say chose you, he chose me to say, hey, if anything happened to my family, you got to take over. I didn't understand it at the time, but as we grew and then as we went along, I understood it. And one night, he came by my house, and he was like, hey, because I used to do some other stuff. He came by my house to pick up something, and he was like, hey, I'm tired, because he was tired. He was one of the top gangsters in here. He had got shot up 12 times. He got his eyes shot out.
Mm.
He went to the federal penitentiary on a bank robbery. He came out, and he used to travel when he did some things with people. And he was like, I'm tired. And then he was like, hey, there's some people in here to hit me. And I'm like, come on, man. Let's do this. He's like, I'm tired. I don't want to do it. And the next day, they hit him. They called me and said, hey, he's gone. Well, after they hit him, it was my job to take over the family. And that's what I did. I took over the family. I was like, hey, anybody mess with anybody in my family, my sisters, the 6 of them, they had boyfriends. I always get together with them. You can date my sister. If you ever touch her, you're gonna have a problem. Anybody on the streets mess with my family, it was my job. And I did it. I did what I had to do because that's what I was taught to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So that was the environment that I grew up with. So my mentality was to kill and destroy.
Yeah.
And that's what my mentality was. And I did that. I did what I had to do. You know, you can go back and people can laugh and joke, and I laugh and joke with people. But when I came through, nobody can tell you they ever did nothing to me because they knew that who I was. If I come after you, I'm gonna get you. So that's how I grew up. And I was young and I wasn't experienced, so I didn't know that wasn't the right way.
Mm-hmm.
That was the way I
That
was
was the
taught.
way.
Right.
That
right.
was the way.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yes, sir.
So the way I was taught, I did it the best of my ability.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not ashamed of that. I'm not ashamed of that, not one bit. But as I grew and got a family, the outlook looked different.
Change.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, okay, I ain't trying to do that. If it's there, I know how to handle that. Now it's time to support my family.
Support the
How
family.
old were you when
Now
you had
listen.
your first child? Or when you say
Well,
that you got a family, what do you
no,
mean?
that wasn't a family.
When you got your family then?
No,
what I
first I was in 8th grade when I had my first kid.
Okay.
Yeah, really?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was in 8th grade when I had my first kid
Okay.
because that just was life,
That was life.
you know. But when I got my family, I was a senior in high school. The lady that I spent 30 years with had my first kid when she was a junior in high school.
Okay. So,
And that what started changing my life.
okay, good. That started changing. So let's get to something else before we go to expound on that part. And one thing I want to ask is, as you're going up, it says I read something else, and I can only talk about
powerful,
it is powerful, and that's why. And I told them before, I said, you know what, you are a person, one of the people who, man, the only thing you know is just what you read, because they put so much out, and there's so much out there that they put out there, but not being in it. We want to give you. I want this to be the platform for you to really tell the difference of what the pen said and what the reality was, because we know that media don't always tell the true reality. Even though we in media, we know it don't do that. That's why we bank ourselves on really putting out the real reality of the situations.
Yeah.
Now, it say that you said that you've been fending for yourself and been on your own since 16. How did that shape some of the choices that you made going through?
Well, it was always like this. My parents always said, look, when you get to the point that you don't want to do what I tell you under my roof, then you need to go. I got to the point where not necessarily that I wanted to be rebellious against my parents. I got to the point where I feel that it was time for me to be a man. So I walked out of my house at 16. And I told my mom and my dad, I said, hey, I'm about to leave. And they was like, where you going? I said, hey, I'm gonna get my own place. I'm gonna do this and do that. They was like, you sure? I'm like, yeah. They wasn't mad. I went and got my own place. I was always a hustler. I always made money. I never ever depended on nobody. I never was around gangs or depending on people to do this for me. I was taught by my brother to be a loner. Don't let your right hand know what your left hand doing. When I left, I went out, got me a place, got my furniture. I'm 16. People don't understand. I'm 16. I go out and furnish the whole place. Me and my dad and my mom became best friends.
Yeah.
Because I stood on my own, and I never went back home. So it bothers me when I see kids who's at home at 20 and 18 or whatever, and they standing around their house and parents are taking care of them. That bothers me. Because bottom line is this: if you raise your kids right, and you have to be hard on them. It ain't that you don't love them. My parents were disciplined. It was hard. My mom and my dad was disciplined. They was hard on us, but they taught us the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they taught me. And that was the time I left. And that was just part of my life.
Man, we appreciate that. Let me take a second real quick just to talk about where we are, a few little of our partnerships. We are here at the Boho Sway at the Canary, right off of Main. I got to tell you this. They got the soft opening coming on November the 25th. And then they got a social event coming on November the 26th. And then the grand opening is December the 1st. So we're here at the Boho Sway at the Canary. All right. And I'm going to tell you the address, 3835 Main Street in Kansas City, Missouri. Then I also got to just run through quickly some of our partnerships that are from today. Our episode is brought to you by Wilson's Pizza and Grill. Our episode is also brought to you in part by Henderson Entertainment, and then New Wall Street, an investment education community. Then we also have some of our brand partnerships. If you see the lovely Brainiac 91.
Amen.
Yeah.
I need a sweatshirt.
Yeah, we gonna work on that for you. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna work on that for you.
Square where they should have a real
I see you, Mr.
Then we also got Truth
Make sure you get
Apparel.
straight
T Money, make sure you get a shirt there. You see win or win.
I like
It's
that.
their
I
choice.
like that too.
I like
You know what I'm
that,
saying?
bro.
Win or win.
I like that.
It's their choice.
I like that.
Now this one fresh out the vault. You know what I'm saying? So we go from there. Then we also got to make sure that we get into our other brand partnerships with SLEK Vodka,
All right.
with Konfidence 71.
I guess where that's from.
We're in the dime.
Yes, from the dot. We got Konfidence 71. That is a Missouri. Brandocious is from Kansas City, Missouri. Konfidence 71.
From Missouri ain't good.
Well, I'm just saying we on both sides of the water. We just
It's the
incorporating
city.
businesses.
Okay.
That's our thing.
Come on,
Just
it's the
incorporating
city. Everything
businesses.
from the city.
We got Wavy by PLG. We got Heartland 180 also there. So just want to make sure we give a shout out to all of our
Amen. That's a
partnerships.
blessing.
We appreciate
We
them.
appreciate
And then we got to send a special shout out this week to this episode to District Record Label. We appreciate them mainly.
Amen.
All right? Yes, sir.
Praise
So-
God for that.
Now, normally we have a section on here that we call fun questions, like icebreakers, where we just kind of, have some fun and break down before we
like
go.
fun.
You don't like fun?
Yeah.
You don't like fun at all? You don't like to laugh or nothing?
I don't like that.
You don't like that?
Like
Come on,
that,
man. I'm
yeah.
with
Okay,
you, man.
so since you don't like that,
No,
we're gonna
let's do
double
it.
this
No,
section
no,
up.
no,
When
let's do
people
it.
don't like it, we double it up. We
Let's
get
do what you do. Come on, let's do what you do. Let's do what you do, man.
So we're gonna have this now. This is the first freestyle fun questions. Normally we script this and go, this is freestyle since it's with you. This is freestyle. We said we weren't gonna script it or nothing. She gonna ask whatever she wanna ask. I'm gonna ask whatever I wanna ask. We get 4 apiece. 4 questions apiece.
Four?
4 questions apiece. We normally do 10 total, 5 apiece, but we cut one down today. So it's 4 apiece. Yeah, today, but I'm gonna just tell you now, normally she got the curveball, I'm throwing curveballs today.
Now you know that's the story.
I'm
It
throwing
ain't me.
normally it's her that with the all the extra
I got
stuff.
some good ones though.
Okay, well mine is not gonna come from there. I got some
Don't
on
worry
here.
about it.
Okay, well go ahead. You start it
Oh, I'ma
off.
start with this one.
Ladies first.
I'm gonna start with this one. Okay, what can you hold without touching it at all?
What can I hold without touching it all? Myself.
Yeah, I
Mm.
like that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now that he say that, I think of a whole lot of stuff it could be.
Mm.
Well,
Huh?
what about yourself?
I would say if we're going out for something different, I'm gonna say peace. You can hold your peace without touching it at
I
all.
like that, sister.
Yeah, but this one, they answer was a conversation, which is
That's good. I like that.
yeah, that was a good question. See,
Yeah, that was a
you
good
see
question.
that?
I like
I
that.
like. Hey,
I like
I'm
that.
with
Way
it.
to go.
See that?
I'm
Way to
with
go. I
it.
like that.
You see that?
My question that I'm gonna ask for this one is,
Don't tell them what you going.
yeah,
I'm
I'm throwing some curves out.
No.
I'm telling you, I got a slider on this one. Slider. Okay. So I'm gonna say a name. And
Oh,
in
here
basketball, I
we go.
want you to tell me what you think about this person's game. Anthony Peeler.
AP was a AP was a good player. He had a lot of heart. He had a decent game. He was just from Missouri. He was a good player. As far as AP was just a good player. Nothing to write home about.
Okay.
I think Earl was a better NBA player than AP. Believe it or not.
Okay. Well, That's just it. And I'm asking you these questions because
Yeah.
of your history of basketball,
Yeah.
and I know your mind frame of
Yeah.
knowing talent of basketball.
Yeah.
So I'm asking you some basketball questions.
Let me ask you
Go
one,
ahead.
because if your question's gonna go this way, I want you to do all of them because
Okay.
because I'm interested to see how your mind worked with that. I mean, you made a lot of innovative.
Now she want to switch up and say,
Bro, listen, I mean, if you're gonna switch it up, then switch it up, bro. Man, don't act like you don't got questions.
She gonna act like we didn't talk about
You
do
feel
your
me?
thing. Now
Don't
she
act-
want. Boy, this
Bro,
is. So, hey,
you trying to
Piggy,
give
we
him
do
the mic,
this
Norman?
all the
Norman,
time.
I
She
gotta
always
fight him
want to
for the mic.
switch up and do
I'm
this.
trying to
Now
give
she
him
get back and forth. Now I'm just glad we aren't on the couch because I normally just try to a little piece of the couch. Now I can move. You know, but boy, you something else.
No, but I'm serious because he made
Uh-huh.
a lot of innovative moves, you know, when it comes to the
So
world
why
of
your question
basketball.
had nothing to do with
But
basketball?
I want, because, first, and seeing this, I wasn't going to go there because I feel like,
Oh, we on.
now, because you're being childish.
I'm being childish. I'm being childish, and she want to throw. Okay,
And
all
then
right.
you
wait.
being childish and you set me up for
Nah, I wanna
failure.
be-
You know what you did.
I didn't do nothing. I
Nah,
told you
I'ma
to do
tell
your
you.
question.
I'm telling you.
Listen, Piggy don't want to hear you arguing all the time. Come on,
Which
let's
is
move.
why I
I'm
say
with
though,
you,
bro,
brother.
come on.
Do your thing. I'm with y'all.
Ask your questions. Because, I mean, I'm interested. I know that you're going to take it in a whole different way that I wouldn't.
So I gotta
think.
ask.
And
I'm the only one asking questions in the fun
Bro, you
questions.
do it anyway.
Well, you
Stop
something
this.
else.
Come on.
You read my questions. So that's what you basically what she trying to tell me is share my questions with her.
No, that's
okay.
not what I said.
Okay,
But
that's what it
What
is.
you got?
All right.
Yeah, come
My
on,
next
say it.
question is this. It's my next question. If we coming up with a 50 greatest Kansas City, that's Kansas and Missouri, Kansas City basketball players, all I'm asking for you to do is give me 6 names. Not no order.
Perfect.
Just 6 names that you know have to be on that list. Give me 6 names on that list. Now, I'm going to put a disclaimer out there. I only asked for 6 names. So there's 44 more names that should be on this list, and I asked for no order. So no one can say, oh, he didn't call me or none of that. I asked for 6 off the top of his
I
head.
can't do that.
You can't do that?
Because I'm going to tell you why I can't do that. I'm a Missouri guy. But listen to what I'm saying.
Okay.
And I don't want to cheat Kansas,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Missouri guys that I ran into and grew up with was hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
Hardcore gangsters from the inner city that could freaking flat out play basketball.
Mm-hmm.
I never seen that in Kansas because I wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it might be some names over there that I never knew.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's only 3 people that I can give you over there.
But that's why I put the disclaimer out there. I just want
But
you
I
to give me
can't
your
put 'em in-
6.
I can't put them in that order as.
There ain't no
that.
order. There's no order. That's why I said just give me
It's
6
just 3
names.
people that I could just name from Kansas.
Just
that-
give me 6 names, period. They ain't in no order and there's no disclaimer.
location,
It ain't
nothing,
no, just give me 6 that you think should be on that list. That's all I'm asking.
It goes from,
Just 6 on that list.
It go from 1 to Bali.
One to
Tony
buy. Okay.
Armstrong.
Okay.
I had to put Jerron in there.
Okay.
I have to go with I had to go with Larry Drew from Kansas.
Okay.
I have to go with Jabrelle from Kansas.
Okay.
Okay. What was his name? But he's Kansas. I'm trying to give Kansas, but Missouri was just too raw.
You don't have to.
And then I go with a Walter Johnson, which you don't never. Y'all don't. That's before y'all.
No, I don't know that name. Oh,
Right.
you said say it again. Wally Johnson.
Walter Johnson.
Walter Johnson. Okay. Okay.
And
All right.
these guys was. And I can go on Martinez Denman. I can go on.
Yeah. Did I? Okay.
George German. I
Yeah.
can go on Kevin Wainwright. I
Yeah.
can go on.
Yeah.
You know, with these type of guys. But these guys was, you know, and I was telling my guys yesterday. It was a guy named Tony Armstrong. Who was I think he was the best ever that came out of both sides. We was in a gym, guys, my witness, true story. We was in a gym, which were all the top players in the country it was called 17th and White, which was Blue Valley Community Center. And he had this guy at the penitentiary. And he came in, and everybody's rocking. They going at it. They going at it. He came in, he was like, who got game? The guy was like, I do. He was like, no you don't, I got it. He took the dude's game. He had jeans on. And he rolled up his jeans, both sides. He picked his thing, he picked his team, and he was like, little pig, you with us too. My fifth player, that was me. The dude got on the fast break. And he came down on a fast break, and Dr. J is my best dunker ever. This dude went, and he went between his legs like this. I don't know how he brought it back like this, and he said, bam! Slammed it in this dude's face. And I was like, my God.
In jeans.
Street dude in jeans.
In jeans.
Put it through this leg, and then.
And then the thing was that he ended up getting on crack and dying. But that's the best player I ever seen in my life.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So when it comes to, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's not fair. It's not fair to rate people.
Yeah, I ain't say rate them. I just said on the list.
Yeah, it's just I just don't like doing that because it's so many great players that came through with my history, and I know who. I just don't. You know, when you come to real dog people, it was some guys that had that dog and heart. See, if you're born with heart, you're born with heart. You can't grow and get heart.
Yeah.
And a lot of people grow and they think, oh, they got that heart now. But if you're born with heart, you're gonna always separate yourself from that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it might be some guys in Kansas that some guys seen that happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I wasn't in Kansas, so I don't know
Gotcha.
who was Joe's guy or your guy that, you know what I'm saying? You don't know. I watched Jabbo play one time, and Jabbo, if he wasn't,
Yeah, it's my guy.
that dude,
It's my guy.
you know, Nate Johnson, but he wasn't on that level as Jabbo.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You had Kevin Thompson over there.
Yeah.
You had you had guys over there.
Right.
But
Understandable.
but let me tell you something. And I look at it like this because these guys was guys that parents didn't have a lot. So they was inner city guys. And they was scraping every day of their lives. So they had that mentality that they didn't give a F.
Right.
So they was like assassins. When they got on the court, they took all that frustration out on the court. So when they went home, they know that they might not have nothing to eat.
Yeah.
So that was the difference between guys then and the guys now. You got guys now, parents is paying for everything and with everything, doing everything. Oh, you're going to brush your teeth, you're going to do this. Oh, don't fuss at my kid, this and that. Their parents wasn't around like that, so they were survivors. So there's a difference.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, I look at Peter. Peter was good, but I wouldn't put Peter in my top 15 when I came through.
There's nothing wrong with that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just wouldn't.
I understand that. It's a difference between errors, a difference between certain dog mentality and playing,
Yeah, because
all of that.
you know, skill-wise, it could be a lot of people that were skill-wise, but when it comes to a guy that was had that pit bull mentality, I'm gonna go with that guy with that pit bull mentality.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's just me.
Yeah. I said it all the
We
time.
talked about that.
There are better players that never even played a lot of school ball or other ball
Yeah.
that's way better players than people who play school, college, and NBA.
It's a
That's
different
way
motivation.
Go,
It's a
go,
different
go to the
motivation.
penitentiary.
Yeah.
There's so many guys in the
All the
penitentiary.
greats are there.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many guys in the penitentiary can take a lot of them guys lunch in the NBA.
Yeah.
We were talking about that when we were off camera before we got started about, you know, you can have all the talent in the world, but the person who out hustle you, man, gonna supersede you any day.
Yeah, well, you
I-
just look at Earl Watson. You gotta look at Earl Watson. I remember one time we in Vegas in a tournament, and we going to eat. Corleone Young's the number 2 guy in the country.
He was dope.
Him and Earl get into it. They get into it. And Earl was like, Corleone was like, I'm gonna make the NBA, Negro, you ain't. But look at it happen. Earl did 12, 15 years. Corleone did 1.
Mm-hmm.
So you never know.
Mm-hmm.
I heard this conversation. But Earl was determined to defeat all the odds.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But Corleone was thinking that, I'm gonna go on my talent.
Yep.
It just come from your heart, man. Corleone didn't have the heart that Earl had. He had better potential,
He had a grit. Or the
but he didn't grind. 'Cause
determination.
you know why?
Yep.
Corleone's mama was always with him, babying him, this, that, and other. I don't knock it, but I never like to see a mama or a dad baby a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that.
Yo, my coach,
Yeah,
my son
that-
coach told him
yeah.
one time, I called him over and he comes over to the bench and he told him, hey man, next time you go over there with your mama, you might as well stay. And that was it.
Yeah.
That was it. He was
I'm
in
quick to tell him,
kindergarten.
listen, you can put him in your back pocket because there's nowhere in America where he can run over to you or do none of that
Listen.
when he playing.
Well, what I was successful at was this. My teams was, and they could tell you, I always tell my parents this: you drop your kids off, you go about your business. Don't never ask me about playing time, because the first time you ask me about playing time, the kid's off my team. Your kid get in this gym, he earns it.
He earned,
I love
yeah.
that.
If
Yeah.
he don't earn it,
He ain't
and if he
playing.
ain't playing, then don't come and ask me that. When I travel, my parents, when they was younger, they traveled, but when we got older, my parents didn't even travel with me.
I see
They
you
didn't
said
even
that
look at
once.
their kids. Because the bottom line is they knew that they had trust in me. I had kids, I treat kids the way I'm gonna treat my kid. Bottom line. And that's where it's lost at today. All these guys is catering to these families and these parents because they get money off of them.
Yeah.
They paying them. If you upset a parent, then you ain't gonna get paid. So what you gotta do is kiss that parent's ass and the kid's ass. That ain't how that go.
So we're gonna switch it and we're gonna start getting into more other things. But I gotta ask you about one more thing. I wanna know your opinion about people dubbing you the Godfather of AAU. But it's not Godfather in the way it's the Godfather of AAU because of what they've written about you about basketball. I want to know your opinion of that.
I mean, when you say the Godfather of AAU, I can kind of see what they're saying. When you say Godfather of AAU, it just basically come from the situation that happened. I was before my time.
Mm-hmm.
I always took care of my kids. I put Kansas City on the map.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
So I know I never condone a name because I just condone me as Myron Piggie. Godfather AAU, okay. I didn't have so many other names that I wouldn't even say. It wasn't even worthy to talk about. But I transitioned AAU basketball. Guys wasn't going out recruiting guys like I started recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
I went to different cities, different states, and I put a team together that we was a top team in America. So, name is a name. It don't bother me. It ain't good. It ain't bad. But if you look at the rules that was changed, which is the Piggie rules,
Mm-hmm.
nobody ever did that. If you look at somebody going to prison for basketball, nobody ever did that. So my whole key is this. It happened. Was it right? No. But it happened. And my thing is this. I did a lot in my lifetime that I should have been in a USP doing life. And I can accept that if you got me.
Yeah.
But if you didn't get me and you put something on me, I have a problem with that. Godfather of basketball, AAU, don't bother me. Because bottom line is, that's what happened. I am. I turned Kansas City basketball around, and not only Kansas City, but the nation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
ESPN, New York Times, LA Times. Everybody, if you wasn't important, they don't want to talk to you. Everybody knocked. I got articles, people wanting to talk to me. The bottom line is it's time to tell the truth. Put it out there. The Piggie rule, AAU basketball was changed because of me. Now, you can't even coach AAU basketball if you got a criminal history.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was about to say.
So I had a criminal history.
So now we moving to where I want to go. Now we getting to the nitty gritty, so to speak. Let's talk about starting into your coaching career. Let's talk about that. Now, I want to say one thing and say, because one thing that I dislike, it's just me, I dislike the fact that, because I don't think that anything before what you starting should be mentioned. So I dislike the fact that in several articles they say...
Before he started coaching and whatnot. What you mean before
Nah,
what?
that the fact that they say, and I'm going to read it exactly so I don't say it, that the fact that they keep saying former crack dealer turned basketball hustler. I didn't like that. So
you got a way to spin it.
Yeah, it's a different spin. That's what I'm saying. It's a whole spin of how that the media put on that about bringing all that up that has nothing to do with it. And then they called you a basketball hustler, not coach. And you was a coach. So my question and where we want to lead into is, coming from your past, how did you get into coaching? Now, I had another question, but I think we're running on time because I wanted to ask you about the incident with the shooting with the police. I wanted to ask you this. Let me start with there. First, let me start there and then come here. So there was an incident with shooting with the police and shooting at the police. And they were plain clothes or not in their clothes. Can we talk about that first and then moving toward going to starting in coaching?
The incident with the shootout with the police it came, first of all, I don't never go out and party. I never went to clubs. I don't believe in going out, being in an environment where I don't have control of it.
Okay.
I ended up there that night because it was an incident that happened earlier that day. And it was an incident that happened earlier that day, which was an incident of $200,000 or so was taken from somebody.
Okay.
Okay? Well, my brother knew the guy who got the $200,000 taken from him. And he was like, hey, we need to, once he found out who I was, he wanted to squash it. So I goes up there, because my brother just talked me into going up there to squash it. And I usually don't squash shit with nobody. I went up there. I usually go by myself, but my brother, I took him with me. He wanted another guy to go with us, which was my sister's boyfriend at the time, which I didn't give a fuck about, if that's okay.
Yeah, this is exclusive. This is exclusive joint.
And I told him I don't want to go with him, but he went up there anyway. So we took him. So when I went in there, we going in the club. So what I did was, it was 4 of us. I'm in the club, I don't want nobody asking for no money, whatever. I gave everybody $200 in their pockets. So don't ask me for nothing, because y'all go do your thing. Well, me and my brother went and had a meeting. And they squashed that because they knew they wasn't getting that $200,000 back. So either what you wanna do? You wanna squash it, or you wanna have a war? They squashed it. But the guy that my brother brought with us was a little thug. So it was a lady that had a purse on a freaking counter, and he stole her purse.
You gave him $200 and he stole a purse?
Stole the purse. The lady calls her people up in the club. I don't know nothing about this. That's my brother's guy. These dudes come up in the club to get this dude. Well, our motto was this: if you come with us, you gotta leave with us. Yeah. If you're fucking wrong or you're right, you still gotta leave with us. You came with us. Mm-hmm. My brother was like, Myron, man, we can't do that. So my brother goes in and steal on the dude. We go in there and we beat the dudes up. The dudes, as they get their ass kicked, they go outside. They waiting on us now to come out. So I didn't know this, but I had a guy who was my guy who watched my back. He never told me that he heard the dude say, well, we're gonna wait for him. So what he did was he went out in the car, which at that time I had like 4 or 5 guns in the trunk. He goes out and he know one gun that I like. He goes out, get the gun, and when I come outside, these dudes come around and start shooting. We up at Karen, 2 o'clock in the morning. It's paper, it's record. So they start shooting. I'm on federal paper. I ain't got no fucking business being there. This gun passed 3 fucking hands and ain't nobody shooting this fucking gun. Now I'm on the ground waiting, for my life. So I finally get the gun. When I get the gun, then fuck, I've got to do what I got to do. So I get up and start shooting. Boom, 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 boom. Tearing up this Cadillac, shooting him up. 2 guys come from the side. I'm thinking they with him. never introduce themselves. Now I'm shooting here, boom, 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 boom. I'm trying to survive. I'm trying for my brother to survive. Come to find out that they was fucking punks. They was cops. They was in the club drinking. So they wanted to be involved. So at the end of the day, I went back in the federal judge. I'm on paper now. I'm on 10-year paper.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I got a 10-year backup.
Yeah.
But I'll just tell you how God works. All this stuff can be negative, and all of it can be gangster. But one thing God do, when he created you in your mother's womb, he already got your destination. This federal judge was a prejudiced judge, but he hated crack dealers, but for some reason, God touched his heart about me. I went back, the dudes, they shot me in the arm. That's how they got me. I went back in front of the federal judge. He had a trial, and he condemned them cops. He said, hey, you off duty. That don't give you the right to have a gun and drink it in the club.
Right.
Because now you ain't thinking right. It was video. Look at, he showed the video. This dude's up here shooting here, and y'all come over here and never announce yourself. Now he's fighting you and he's fighting them. What can he do? But see, they never wrote about that these cops was wrong.
Right.
These cops ended up getting fired. I ended up pleading guilty to shooting a gun in public because who I was.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I ended up doing another year, and the judge released me.
So past criminal history.
What do you mean?
That's what you're talking about? You said who you was?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had just, I don't know, it's deep, man.
Yeah.
We can't even go back there.
Okay, we don't go there. We're going to stay here. Yeah, we're going to stay here.
We stay there. We can't go back there. I end up, like I said, plead guilty. I ended up having to go and do a year waiting down for the thing. They got fired. I ended up pleading guilty to just shooting a gun in the public, which I should have got. I could have got felon in possession.
Yeah. Yep.
But that judge didn't do that to me. So I ended up beating that case. But I mean, it was over 100. It was over 100 shells, you know, spent out there because shit. I was fighting. I was fighting for my life.
Right.
And that's why I always say, people always say, "Hey man, they got guns, whatever." When you're shooting at somebody, it's easy. But when somebody's shooting back at you, what can you do?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I like you said that.
So that was just my life, man. I lived a life that I was shielded by God. I was shielded by God. Because even the other stuff that I can get into, which I know my guys ain't, I don't go that much. My other stuff that I can get into, but I was just shielded by God.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't knock who I was. You know, I was a street guy. I was a gangster. I was doing things. I did this. I sold dope. I did everything under the sun. But one thing I ever did, I never mistreated nobody.
How being all of that and experiencing all of that, did you even get involved with kids and basketball and wanting to, like, I mean, you had a lot going on.
From there, how you get involved with it?
Well, first of all, I was an athlete myself. I was the first freshman that ever started varsity football in the state of Missouri. At linebacker, I played 4 years of football, which was the best linebacker in the state of Missouri. Nobody ever started varsity football as a freshman.
I seen an interview where you was talking about that.
Yeah.
I had that mentality.
Mm-hmm.
My whole thing was, if I'm gonna get on the field, I'm gonna be the best. So I went on the field and I dominated the upperclassmen. When I went to the street, I dominated the older guys.
Mm-hmm.
That was my mentality. I'm not gonna never take second fiddle to nobody. So when I had a son, that basically kind of gave me an opportunity to kind of chill down.
Okay.
But I always gave tournaments. I always had Lincoln Central, Manual, everybody always had teams. And once we got out of high school, because we didn't make it. So why are we going to waste our talent? Let's go on and continue to play against each other in tournaments. Let's see who can win outside the Interclass League or outside. So we had tournaments.
Okay.
So I used to give tournaments. I started giving tournaments.
Okay.
And
Where were the tournaments?
everywhere,
Like
YMCA,
different place? Okay.
17th and White, whatsoever.
Oh, okay.
But I was the first guy that ever gave outdoor tournaments at night in the inner city, Greg Center.
Mm-hmm.
I gave tournaments and I invited white teams and at nighttime. And that was the key. Could nobody else do that, because once I put my name on it, when white people came in that inner city and I put my name on it, they was untouchable. You couldn't touch them. Because you touch them, then you had a problem.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's when I started giving tournaments across the city and whatever. And then when my son started playing, which he was real good, until he had Bo Jackson had a injury that his ball joint fell out his hip.
Mm-hmm.
That's what destroyed Bo Jackson. Myron Jr. had that same injury. But before he had that injury, he was, Earl or nobody could touch Myron. Myron was big, strong, he was tough. But that's when I started coaching, because I wanted him to play ball. So that's how I basically got off into coaching, because of him.
Okay. So I'm gonna ask this question. So how did you meet Tom Green? How did that come about?
It came to the thing where Tom Green used to, he was the sponsor of the team. John Walker was the coach, and I don't know how they hooked up, and he gave sponsorship. And Myron Jr. played on that team.
Okay.
So Walker was trying to make money off of Jerron, and they called Tom and told Tom, so Tom fired Walker. So after the tournament, they needed a coach, so the parents was like, hey, that Piggie coach. And that's how I coached. That's how I got in there.
Okay.
I wasn't trying to go on that level.
Okay.
Dang.
It was just dropped in my lap.
It was dropped in your lap. Okay. So now let's talk about you're in coaching. Now it's dropped in your lap. It comes, your son is playing, and then Jerron's on this team, but this is like a star-studded team that you inherited.
Eventually.
It wasn't.
It wasn't then?
Well, no. It
Okay.
wasn't no star-studded team. It was just a good team.
It was a good team. Okay.
I made it a
you
star.
made it a star.
That's
Okay.
what I was about to say.
Okay.
I made it
I
a
wanted
star.
to hear you say that.
Because
I wanted
Cody
you to
was
say
playing on
that.
team.
Okay.
Because the
Cody
narrative is
I wanted to
that-
hear you say that. You
you
inherited a good
right,
team.
That's
Yeah.
You had a good
narrative
team
is.
that had it.
And
And
then me.
so how do you take it? How do you take, once you get in there, how do you move it forward? How
just
do you
like
do it?
just like I did when I was in the streets. I
Mhm.
took it to another level. My whole thing is I don't take second fiddle. If I'm gonna go on the circuit, I want the best. What
Okay.
I did was I went around the country and started recruiting.
Okay.
It was legal then.
Yeah.
Was that your first mindset to do? Like once you inherited the team, it's like I gotta recruit outside of the city.
But everybody can't do that.
That's what
I
mean,
like
right.
where you're going, your mindset, but everybody can't just go around the country and recruit. So how did you even fathom,
I
like,
mean, at
where
the
did
time
that
it
come
wasn't
from?
an issue though,
Came
right?
from me.
Okay.
That's what
Innovate.
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
New age
What
thinking.
made you think
It's
that?
just the way I thought.
the way you thought.
If I'm a coach, I'm gonna have the best team. And
Okay.
I thought about that, so I flew to Chicago.
Because that's my question.
I flew
How
to
did you get some
Chicago.
of these players?
Did you
Like,
know-
what made you know to go
Right,
to
that's what I'm
for
like.
certain players? Like, I'm this. I understand
already know
Corleone.
these players?
Corleone is
Corleone's my
related to you,
cousin. They
correct?
don't know
All
that.
right.
Right. Corleone is related to you.
Yes.
So I understand that part. But now I'm understanding, how did you know to go get say like a Mike Miller or Corey McGett? How did you have the connections for that?
My thing is, I'm a recruiter. I know if that's how I was successful in dope.
Okay, so it's the same mentality.
So it's the same mentality.
Same mentality.
So bottom line is, if you want to be the best, you gotta put a system in place.
There you go.
So
okay.
I'm not gonna go on the circuit with an average team. I need to do the best team. So what do? You get the best players. So that's what I did. I went out. I flew to Chicago. I sit down. I went to a game to see Corey McGett play. After that, I went and met with his parents, and I sold me. I went and sold Mike Miller. I went and sold. There's a lot of more guys that played in the NBA.
Did you go to Chicago
because there's more than just
him,
them two?
or you just was going to Chicago because you knew they had a cool pool of kids?
No. I went to Chicago because Chicago had the best.
Yeah.
Had the best AAU team called the Illinois Warriors.
Okay.
With Pooh Richardson and all them. They got a podcast, Knuckleheads.
Yeah, I know you talking.
Yeah. They was Corey was with them.
Oh,
I went and pulled him out of there. I recruited him out of there. I flew one night went to see his game, stayed 2 days, met with the family, told him what I can do, what I'm going to do, and I got him. Same with Mike Miller, same with Kevin Braswell, same with a lot of other guys. I'm a recruiter. I'm going to recruit you because my young guys were still young, and they was doing their damage on their level, but I wanted to get the guys on the level I was coaching. I needed to be the top of the line, and which we became.
What was you saying you was gonna do? Right? What's the mindset and the vision for the team once you took it over? I mean, because you started. I mean, like we said,
the vision was to put Kansas City on the map.
That was the vision.
That was the vision
from the top.
That was the vision from the top. I can't. If I put something on there, if I touch it, I wanted to turn it to go.
So what you telling the parent? If you talking to me, you saying what you gonna do for their kids? I mean, it's AAU. It's AAU though.
I'm a recruiter. What you think?
She wants you to recruit her son. That's what she wants you to take her through one of them days.
I can recruit her, but at the end of the day, she might not like it.
Oh, okay.
Listen.
But I'm a recruiter. If I'm coming in, if I want you, I'm gonna get you, whatever it takes.
The only reason I ask is because we don't have those experiences. At least I've not had that experience in the AAU circuit, today, right? So when you're going out and recruiting and you talking about kids, we talking about teenagers, middle school kids, on their way to high school. Like, what is it that you can offer me, man?
What I can offer you is this. I can offer you. You just have to be upfront and be honest. Yeah. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to treat your kid the way I'm treated, my kid.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
When you ain't there, you ain't got to worry about your kid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The same way that you treat your kid at home, when he leaves your home, he's going to be treated the same way.
Yep.
He's not going to be ignorant. He's not going to go out and do nothing stupid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be like you taught him. Now, he's going to be a little better than that because I'm a disciplined dude.
Yeah.
I'm very disciplined. When I get kids in my gym or whatever, I don't play games. I don't show favorites. Even my son, when he mess up, I sit his ass on the bench. I don't care about that. My whole thing was to be the best person and coach that I can be. So at the end of the day, when these kids leave me, they can say, that's my man. When they get older, they can say, that's my man. You know why we're here today? Because these guys right here was a part of me. I was a man.
Yeah.
I never had nothing up my sleeve. I never tried to exploit kids. That wasn't me. I'm real as they come. You don't get no freaking realer as me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm a street dude. You gotta be loyal. If you're loyal to the streets, you gotta be loyal to the kids.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? And they wasn't ready for me. They just wasn't. I was, I always say, now look, everybody's getting paid. People's doing everything they can do. Back then, it was a sin and a crime.
Right.
Yep.
So, I heard it said one time from that you were the only one that could have done what you accomplished with CMH. I heard it said that. It couldn't have been no one else because of two things. Who you were as a person, and then what you instilled into the kids.
Yeah.
How much of that do you believe, or do you think is a true statement?
Both, because my kids, I taught my kids to have the same mentality that I had. That's why we was win. That's why we was on circuit. That's why we dominated. When we was in tournaments and coaches or whatever, they see me go after coaches. They see me go after referees. They see me when we go in New York and guys try to be tough or whatever. They see how I stood up for them. That was my mentality. I put my fingerprint on my program. Bottom line is, if they can get away and get home safely, that's okay. If I don't, as long as they do, I'm gonna sacrifice everything for my kids. And I always tell my kids, don't take a piece of bubble gum from nobody.
Yep.
Because if you do, you might be obligated to them. That's why I never ever, when it came back to me paying kids, I don't pay kids. You know what I do? I take care of kids.
Yeah.
I didn't went in kids' house
Say
that ain't even make my team and pay their light bill, water bill, and gave them groceries.
Mm-hmm.
See, people don't understand that. I did that several times. I just left one of the most, my mentor, which is Calvin Wainwright, just passed away.
that. Yeah.
Man, rest in peace, Mr. Wainwright. He's a
Yeah.
great man.
But people don't know. Calvin Wainwright and me was like this.
Mm-hmm.
When Calvin Wainwright was Don Bosco, when nobody helped Calvin Wainwright. You know who helped Calvin Wainwright? Me.
Mm-hmm. You.
All the gear, all the stuff for his program, I gave him that free. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I did that because that was my big brother. I never asked nothing. Nobody gave me nothing. Nobody. I took money out of my household to take care of people.
This your whole story and the root of it really just speaks to a more exhausting conversation that we constantly have with people outside of our community. You know what I'm saying? You give a kid a few dollars to make sure they can eat, man, they'd have been hustling all weekend. You know what I'm saying? How you translate that into paying a kid is crazy to me when you don't understand it, man. That's probably gonna feed them and their brothers and sisters.
Well,
it's not about that. It's what you said. It's taking care of my kids.
You know, one thing about people that understand this, the kids go on the road. I'm paying for their room.
Man.
I'm paying for their meals. I'm giving them comfort. When they go back
Making
home,
sure they good.
they ain't gonna get that. So we going back. Our kids going back to the community. They might not have nothing in their icebox. They might not have nothing in their, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
They can't even have a pair of good shoes or nothing. But that's my job, was to make sure that. Why would I send them false hope and take care of them all weekend and then let them struggle all week? I could not do that.
This is why I
Right.
say the
Right.
conversation is exhausting because
You go with
people
me on
don't
the weekend
understand
and play
the community.
and live good, but now you go back here and don't talk to me.
But people
Right.
don't.
I'm still obligated to make sure that you okay doing these other 4 to 6 days
I got
of the
to.
week too, because you still
people
my
don't
family.
understand what's going on in
You know,
the community.
and the
Like they
saddest-
don't know what they dealing
And the
with
saddest
for
thing
real.
is this: mothers and single mothers.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you something, and this is important to me, and it might not be important to a lot of people,
It ain't.
but mothers are single mothers. If you give a mother $300, what do you think a mother will do for you? Any and everything. Not one parent ever could say that I pay their bills and ask for anything. I had a mother one time say, hey, you want some sex? Well, hell no, I was offended. Because I don't need that. I get that on my own. But that's just how desperate parents was back then. But they was so excited and knowing that they had somebody who cared for them. I was loyal. I had to be loyal. My brother taught me to be loyal to the game. Taught me to be loyal to the streets. Whatever you do, you be loyal to. I could not sit up here and do that to parents. That's me exploiting them. That's me doing wrong. Why would I say? Then I'm not that dude. If I'm sitting up here saying, hey, I'm paying your bills, you got to give me this. No. So I get my own. I'm here to help you and your kid. And a lot of kids didn't make it on my team, but at the same time, I still had to take care of them. Because bottom line, you came out, you tried, you just wasn't good enough.
Came together, we lead together.
Bottom line.
Yeah. So now I'm gonna talk about a few elephants in the room.
Oh, them dudes?
Yeah, them dudes over
Listen.
there. Talk about your elephants over there. So I want to ask about a couple things, if we can. One, I want to ask about an allegation that came up, and they talked about once you got started, Nike came. They talked about allegations of you selling the gear that Nike was giving you.
Ask anybody who brought gear from me. Nobody never brought gear from me. I never sold gear. Why would I sell? No.
It's just allegation, yeah.
Hold on. You can't find nobody that say that they ever brought gear from me.
Mm-hmm.
Calvin Wainwright had a program with 3 teams. I seen on Facebook the other night, yesterday, where a guy said, hey, I went to his, back in the day, I went to his basement and he had a Nike store. I would have teams, coaches come in and I would dress a program.
Mm-hmm.
It was times that Nike, Adidas, and Reebok was fighting for my services.
Mm-hmm.
My services.
What?
They wanted me to dress my team in their gear. True story. I would come home. I would have boxes and boxes of Adidas gear, Nike gear, and Reebok gear before I even signed with anybody. What I'm gonna do with that gear? I can't wear all that gear. I gave it all away. I had fucking money. I'm a street dude. I'm a drug dealer. That's nothing to me. I gave it away to the community. Tell me one player, tell me one guy that can come up and say, I sold him something. Yeah.
Well, it never said nobody said you sold them. It said allegedly that's what you was doing. So that's the media saying
Depends
stuff.
a motherfucker.
Yeah, you right.
Depends a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Because you know what? I never had a problem with money. And then when it came to gear and it came to kids, that was my number one priority. When I got in that game, if you put your kid in my hand, my job was to bring the kid back the same way you put it.
So why you think everybody's saying this? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot written about you. I mean, I'm just being for real. You saying that it's not true. So I'm like,
I know.
What would lead them to suspect that it is?
Let me tell you something. I don't give a rat ass what people say about me. One thing about when I came through, people didn't like who I was, but they always respected me. I can go up in here several times. Dudes in the club talking. Man, when I see this motherfucker, I'm gonna kick his ass, I'm gonna kill him. Guy called me and said, hey, Myron, this motherfucker talking about he gonna kill you, whatever. I goes up in the club. You know what that motherfucker do? Hey, Piggie, how you doing? How you doing? You know what I'm saying? So people kiss your ass. People gonna always talk. They're gonna always say something because they can get that off because they wrote about it.
Just to be devil's advocate, though, you know your mama be like, everybody ain't lying on you.
You know what? That's not true. Because you know what? There's a lot of people in the penitentiary. You know what I learned when I was in the joint? Everybody fucking innocent.
Right.
I didn't do this. I didn't do that. But there's some people there in the penitentiary that is innocent.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, whatever, it just comes from who's saying it.
Perspective.
Who are they credible?
The source.
Can they prove it? I said something that people can do. They can write something and they can say, just throwing it out, Mahomes gay. They just write it. It ain't true. But when they look at Mahomes, what they gonna think?
If they keep writing, especially
Yeah.
if they write more.
Yeah.
more,
What they gonna think?
they gonna start, somebody gonna start believing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They done wrote $3,000-4,000 articles on me.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's definitely a lot repeating the same narrative.
I know.
Nobody doing their research.
I know, you know what? It ain't about people doing their research. It's about, you gotta look at something. Everything is repetition. It's nothing, nothing new in them articles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How many times you seen an article that with me saying something?
No, I was gonna get to that. That's one of my questions that I was gonna ask you later.
You know
on.
why?
Is about.
Because you let people talk.
Yeah.
Everybody can't be patient and wait. You have to be patient and wait for your time. Because at the end of the day, if the federal government was right, why would you go and get a 3-year-old gun charge and put it on top of the basketball charge
Right.
Yeah.
and say, we can beat you on this
See, I
gun
didn't realize
charge.
that's what happened.
Oh yeah.
I know
got
that's
that.
what
Yeah,
I got
happened.
that
hold
in
on,
here.
hold on. You can beat
Yeah.
us on this gun charge, but you can't beat us. You can beat us on this basketball, but you can't beat us on this gun
keep
charge.
thinking like he
That
got so
gun
much
charge
time.
cost me 12 years.
That's why I kept thinking like he got so much time. For
So
like, you gotta
bottom
play
line is
basketball?
this. So line is this. If you had me dead wrong, why would you go get a 3-year-old gun case that I plead guilty to and hit me with that? If you had me, let's go to trial. Me and you go, let's go. Because I can beat him on this basketball.
All day.
But I can't beat him on the gun. I'm a convicted felon.
Yo, it's crazy.
So right there, we're gonna take our quick break and come back. Cause when we come back, we're gonna talk about that. Cause that was our break point. Is talk about the gun charge and then more of the things that happened of how the conviction came and then fighting back. And then we also want to talk about the documentary that you got coming out. So we're gonna take a quick break and then we come right back with that.
Tonight's episode was brought to you in part by Wilson's Pizza and Grill and Jegna Klub TV. Our Facebook Live broadcast was brought to you in part by New Wall Street. Our musical guests are brought to you in part by Henderson Entertainment. Our live audience giveaways are brought to you in part by The Royals. Our venue partner is the Elegant 1739 Gallery. Our clothing partners are Truth, The Reason, and Brainiac 91. Our beverage partners are Drip Ultra Pure Water and SweetE's Teaz.
All right, we are back with Mr. Myron Piggie.
Amen.
You know, Myron, the first thing that we want to do today is we want to talk about something that our show is about. Our show is not just about putting in front of our youth and community people who are thriving that look like them, that are doing positive things, or that have situations that need to be discussed and talked about because they really bring about change in our community. So that's one reason. But the other reason is we want to give what's called oxygen. Some people say flowers. We don't knock them, but we don't give flowers. We give oxygen.
I don't like flowers. I like giving them to women, but I don't.
Yeah, you know, okay. So we giving oxygen. Our oxygen means we breathing life into who you are and what you've done, and we hope that you continue to do that. So we want to take an opportunity right now to give you oxygen for what you have done for our community and what you can continue to do. A lot of people look at certain things and they say that, oh, why? Well, I'm gonna keep it real. Why would you give him oxygen? Why would you say these things? And I'm gonna tell you why. We brought you on here and give you oxygen because no matter what they say, you took care of families. You took care of our community. There is hundreds of kids that can say positive things about what you did and what you meant to them and what your involvement in their life can do. And there are thousands of kids that can benefit from your knowledge and where you come from and what you can do for them and make a change. You can put a dent in where our kids are going. Amen. So we want to give oxygen to you.
Yeah.
Praise
to
God.
what you've
I
done.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
I really do. That means a lot to me.
Thank
You deserve that.
Thank
you.
you.
Do.
Thank you so much.
You
So
deserve it.
we just come back and we were talking about the gun charge that really kind of stimulated more things. I want to talk briefly about the gun charge. As you said, it's a 3-year-old gun charge because actually, if in my notes, it's right. The gun charge came from 1998, and then
2-year gun charge.
2 year, okay, and then 2000 is when you was actually indicted.
Yeah,
right?
see, where the gun charge came from, I own the cleaners in the inner city.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if y'all familiar with the Kansas City area, which is, back then it was to be on 18th of Brooklyn was Wings and Things.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay, I own the cleaners in that area, right there in that strip.
Okay.
It was Wings and Things. It was a barber shop. It was a beauty shop, and it was a steak and shake.
Uh-huh.
Back then, and I owned the cleaner. So one night, my cleaners got broken into. So the next night, I just stayed in there just to wait all night, and I parked my car in the back, trying to say, okay, well, maybe see if somebody come back the next night. Well, I ended up leaving about 2 a.m. in the morning, going home. At that time, I was married, and I had a registered pistol, which was in my wife's name. You know how we do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I ended up, and what I did was, I ended up, instead of going to the light and turning, I made a U-turn. And when I made a U-turn, it was a paddy wagon that seen me make a U-turn. So they pulled me over.
So paddy wagon did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pulled me over.
The paddy wagon pulled you over.
Paddy wagon pulled me over. Yeah. And
Okay, 90s.
And so what I did was, back then, you know, concealed weapons. So what I did was I took my clip out, because the gun was registered, it was clean. I put my clip in my glove box, I locked it, and I put the gun on the dashboard because I didn't want them, because I know once they ran me through what they was gonna go through the thing, and I didn't want them to find a loaded gun.
Mm-hmm.
Right, of course.
So it was a white guy, and he put me over, and I told him, I said, hey man, this is a gun. I don't have the clip on it because they had to get a search warrant to unlock that thing. So he was like, okay. So he gave me a ticket. So another cop pulled up, which was a brother. And the white dude said, I'm gonna let him go. He was like, nah, don't let him go.
What?
Let's go and arrest him. And the only reason I found this out was because when I went down there and they was arresting me, and I'm saying, man, why you so fucking prejudiced? He said, man, I wanted to let you go. It was him that didn't do it. There was the other guy that didn't want to let you go. He said, I don't know what he had against you, but it was something he had against you. So I ended up pleading guilty and I paid $100 fine for that case. They came back when they came with the basketball case, and the feds charged me with the same crime. And they came back and said, the law changed. Remember it used to be double jeopardy where you can't charge you with the same crime? So they said it was a law called dual sobritry, that you can charge you with this. Two agencies can charge you with the same crime. So if the city charged me and the state charged me, the feds didn't charge me.
Then technically it ain't
Yeah,
double
so what
jeopardy.
they did was they had the feds not to, they had the state not to charge me. So they came back 2 years later and picked that gun up and put it on top of the basketball. So that's how I pled guilty to the basketball case.
Okay.
And people don't know that. People think that I pled guilty because I was guilty. I pled guilty to the basketball because I didn't want to do 12 years in the federal
Because they
penitentiary.
attached them
Right.
together.
Yeah, they put them together.
And that's cold.
Now, I'm going to ask a couple maybe hard questions.
That
But-
ain't hard.
But I want to ask this because I want opportunity for you to express what happened. One of the first questions is, we talked about how you got started in basketball with this team, with Grant, all that. But we didn't ever say how you met Grant. But you started coaching the team, and that's probably how you met because he was financing the team. Okay. My first question is, of these three, there's a situation or allegation, well, I should say allegation, of which your Corleone is your cousin, of your cousin that they say about with these Nike representatives, other people about you going and receiving payments for him, and then him going on to NBA and then receiving back. And if you want me to read it, I'll read. Let me see. Let me.
That's the first I heard of that.
Okay. It says. Let me see. I'm gonna read it because I read this and I couldn't believe reading it. It said. Okay, here it is. I'm gonna read it exactly. It says, one particular disturbing incident cited in the indictment was a July 1997 Las Vegas meeting between Piggie, Nike's George Raveling, and agent Jerome Stanley. At the meeting, the three discussed the future pro prospects and then amateur Corleone Young, who is Piggie's cousin. Within a month of the meeting, Stanley was making payments to Piggie, as much as $20,000 a pop, for what the indictment describes as promotional activity on Stanley's behalf in the basketball community. Over the next year, Stanley's payments to Piggie totaled nearly $50,000, and the following April, shortly after Young declared for the NBA draft, Stanley became Young's agent and promptly negotiated a $500,000 contract with Nike. So I'm asking that because I never heard of that before, but once I started researching now when you were coming, I'm like, now this comes up, so I want to give you opportunity to talk about that.
Let me do this. Let me say this. We flew to Vegas after we left Santa Barbara, which was George. It was Michael Jordan's camp. We spent 2 weeks up there. We get to the airport. We drive from Santa Barbara to LAX. We get to the airport. And before I even met Stanley, I didn't even know where he was. Let's be real. He walked up and told me, he said, because me and George Raveling was like this.
Okay.
He was like, hey Pig, George told me to come and introduce myself. And he was like, hey, got something for you. I'm like, what? What you got? He was like, hey, here. So he gives me an envelope. He said, don't open it up until you get home. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, we're going to Vegas now, so it's going to be like 2 weeks before I get home. Which I didn't, you know, I'm a street nigga. You ain't going to tell me not to open nothing up. I'm going to open it up. There's 20 grand in there. Okay? And then when we get to get on the plane to go to Vegas, George Raveling and Stanley's on the airplane. And I'm like, and Rab never told me, because Rab's supposed to be my boy. He never told me what Stanley was about. I didn't know Stanley was an agent. So we get there and bottle up, you know, we get there. He was like, hey, I want you and Stanley to meet. Because Stanley's a USC guy. George Raveling's the coach at the USC. And Stanley used to represent Keyshawn Johnson.
Okay.
Okay, you know Keyshawn.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay. So he was like, hey, that 20 grand shit, write that off, man. I just want to put that in your pocket.
This Steve.
Huh?
This Steve. Who's saying this?
Stanley.
Stanley. I done called him in Steve.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. I'm like, I said, man, don't nobody give 20 grand for nothing. No. I just want to put that in your pocket. So I go and tell George, me and George sit down, because I'm a straight shooter. I'm like, George, this motherfucker just gave me 20,000. I'm not fucking obligated to no fucking body. So if he wants this 20,000, he can have it. Cause I don't dance as no puppet for nobody. He's like, no, you do that. So, okay. So me and Stanley end up meeting, and they really wanted Jerron.
Rush.
They wanted Jerron to come out of high school, but that wasn't happening, cause Jerron was sick, and people didn't know he was sick. So I wasn't gonna put him in that position. So they wanted to, at that time, Tracy McGrady was the best thing that happened.
Shout out Tracy.
Adidas was kicking Nike's ass.
Yeah. Because what
So-
we talking about? We talking about early 90s.
So Nike needed to have something to compete
Yeah.
with Tracy McGrady. I couldn't send Jerron because Jerron wasn't physically, far as talent-wise, he was fucking ready. Mentally, he wasn't fucking ready because he was sick. So they was like, okay, let's do Corleone. So it was promised to me that Nike was going to give Corleone a $5 to $7 million endorsement. Okay? Well, I come to find out that wasn't fucking true. So when that wasn't fucking true, I flew to LA and I got Stanley and I got Rad. And I chewed their fucking ass out. I had my men with me. I had a couple of guys with me, because I don't play fucking games. And I fired fucking Stanley. See, you don't read about me firing Stanley nowhere, do you?
They ain't in there.
Exactly. Because they fucking lied to me. Because I would have never let Corleone come out. I would have made Corleone go to college. Come to find out, they never had a deal for Corleone for $5 million or $7 million. So I fired Stanley, and I hired Penny Hardaway agent, which was what was the brothers out of Detroit. And when I brought them over, they was like, Pig, we can't do a whole lot now because shit is fucked up. So Stanley gave a package of 20 grand. But let me tell you something. Then, if you read that, it was supposed to have been a loan. If you're a fucking lawyer, why did you not get fucking paperwork on a fucking loan? Where the paperwork at on this shit? There's no fucking paperwork. Because they was fucking full of shit. And I brought them to the fucking stage. I don't fucking play games. And I don't believe in that. At the end of the day, I laugh and joke with you every fucking day or anytime. But when it comes to business, I don't fucking play games, because you fuck me, I'm gonna fuck you back. Just straight out. So that's bullshit.
Okay. Now, this is one that I personally want to ask you. This ain't nothing about, no, this is me personally want to ask you, because I don't, this is my first time really. I met you before a long time ago, been passing, but this is my first time talking to you and going. So I'm not in the mix of it. But I want to ask some things, because a lot of people around you and in your program are people I know. So I want to talk about the situation of when they talk about the tape. They talk about the tape recorder that come from a player. And I told you I'm going to straight shoot it, the questions, and then you go from there. The tape recording that came from the player, it was, because I don't believe the player themselves just said, oh, I'm going to take a tape recorder in here. It came from what direction, and how did that come from? How did that come about, this recording that they had? Because the other part of it, I'm asking, because this recording set for a while. It didn't just come right out, and they didn't just use and put it. It set for a while. So this recording that came from this player, how did this come about?
Well, let me tell you this. First of all, it was fucking messy.
Say that again?
It was fucking messy.
Messy, okay.
You don't put a fucking wire on a kid that can get fucking killed.
Yeah.
Right, correct.
So that lets you know how much you cared about that fucking kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why would you do that?
because they didn't care. They was more thinking about themselves
They
than
was
thinking about
fucking
anything else.
selfish.
Selfish, right.
Now, I don't know how it came about. I know Al Collins, which is a fucking rat. I helped that brother, and I did everything in the power I can. I never did nothing to him and his family. But just because you couldn't hold your fucking weight, you don't turn your back on your brother and to go against a white man. Why would you fucking put a wire on a kid? And if one of my guys would have found out a wire was on that kid, they would have shot that motherfucker in the head. Now, who would accept the responsibility for that? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
This is deeper than it was.
Right.
You don't go against it. Why would you do your brother like that?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. I don't hold punches. I don't sugarcoat nothing. People who know me. They know where I'm from. They know I'm about business. I'm not gonna mess nobody's life up. I'm gonna treat you the way I wanna be treated, but if you fucking cross me,
Yeah.
I don't mind fucking going to the penitentiary. I've been there and I've done that. And I survived that and I ruled in the penitentiary. If you don't put a fucking wire on your own fucking kid, why you put a wire on somebody else's kid? Bullshit. Because I told the kid that I'm gonna give him $100 when he go down, where he can be with the other kids. Other kids had money. This kid didn't have no money in his house. This kid didn't have no fucking furniture. This kid didn't have nothing. And he was ashamed to go on the trip because he didn't have a dime. My job is to make sure that every kid is treated equally. And then I fire you as a coach, and what you do, you come back at me with a white man. They get back at me because you couldn't hold your responsibility and you couldn't coach yourself out of a fucking paper bag. Man, let me tell you something. The streets is a rule. It's a law. You treat people the way you want to be treated. Where I grew up, you don't mistreat or fuck nobody. If people fuck you, you got the fucking right to destroy their ass and put them to sleep. Al came that fucking close because he's a fucking rat. And I don't know how that man can walk around and look in the fucking mirror at night. Because I brought him back in the situation, and he can't never tell you that I did anything to him and his family. I was real with him. He wasn't a fucking man. Why would you go against a brother who helped you for a white man? And the only reason white man did what he did because he was scared that when me fell out, that I was gonna kill him and his family. Fuck them.
So this is,
Personal.
so to speak, black on black crime.
You want to look at it like a black
My
on
daddy
black
say it's
crime.
time to turn on black. It's
So
sad.
now, with that being said, I gotta ask a question. So
You're asking a lot of questions.
I know that's part of what this is. It's an interview. I gotta ask questions. People want to know. They want to
Do
know
they
the
really
truth.
wanna know?
Yeah, they really want to know the
They
truth.
need to know, man. If they
They
don't
need
want
to know the truth. We
They
want the
need to
truth to
know.
come out.
They need
We don't
to.
want just these articles written by other people who's just telling their narrative. We want the narrative of the truth to come out.
'Cause they say a
Now,
lot of
I'm going to say
stuff.
this again. You know what I'm saying? Our brother Joe had got a documentary with you coming out that's putting everything else out here. This is kind of prelude, just putting a little bit out as the documentary comes out, just kind of letting things know that this documentary is
I don't
coming
want
out.
all this
It's
shit
gonna
to
be
come
soon.
out.
Oh, it's coming out. It's
On
coming
the
out.
documentary, but I'm talking about as long as Joe control this shit, it control it.
But that's why I said this is through Joe. This is through
Yeah, 'cause,
district and with
all
Joe.
this other shit,
All this is
no
today.
disrespect, but I'm sitting here on the strength of Joe.
Yeah.
I don't sit here with people that I really don't know. I don't know y'all.
And that's understandable.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking to y'all because Joe got me here.
Right.
But I'm not gonna fucking sit back and bullshit you. I'm not gonna do that.
Right. Well, this all on the strength of Joe. This is all through Joe and district and through putting it out through him. And my question is, so how did the coaching staff come about?
What do you mean?
The coaching staff from your program, how did it come about?
What coaching staff?
You didn't have a coaching staff from your program?
No.
It was just you coaching?
I had a guy with me.
Oh, you had a guy with you? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I pick and choose who I want with me.
Okay. All right. And so, I'm just saying.
You lost now.
No, I'm not lost. I was just trying to get. So you said you pick and choose, but you chose the coach Al, who you say then.
I chose Al
turn around.
because I need Al at that time.
Okay.
Al at that time had a program.
Which he did.
What the program wasn't being successful. And Earl and McGetty and all them had went on to college. He had a kid named Kenny and Nate Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
And he had Ondre Williams.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to add to that because I didn't want to go out and cross the country and recruit. So what I did was I give Al the opportunity to merge his program with my program.
Okay.
Okay?
Now this, I'm gonna let you finish. Then I'm gonna ask my other question. Go ahead.
So when I did that, after that year, I was gonna let Al take over the program because Joe and all them guys was coming up, which they were the top AAU program, and I didn't want to coach them more. The opportunity that I gave Al, he blew the opportunity, and when I fired him, that's when he went and hooked up with the white guy, because the white guy wasn't nobody sponsoring me but me.
Right.
Nike was me. And Nike was giving me $400,000 to do my teams and giving me a $50,000 salary a year.
Yeah.
Which Nike still owed me $150,000. And they bailed out because the feds came in and hit me. They're gonna pay for that too. You're gonna always pay the piper.
So my question now is, relieving him of the duties and going, you didn't want to coach, and my question is about you moving from coaching. What was the reason of moving from coaching?
Cause he couldn't fucking coach. I didn't want to coach no more. I had a lot of stuff in the fire. I realized something. I'm a street dude.
Yeah.
I did what I had to do. I got my kids what I had to do. I was gonna make sure that I was gonna be able to bring my other kids up.
Right.
I set the program up nationally. We was a national program. Kansas City was on the fucking map. Only thing he had to do was just go in there and coach. He had a pipeline. Just fucking go in and fucking coach. He couldn't fucking do that. One thing about my programs, when I go on a fucking tournament, you have pool play. You gotta win your pool to go to the championship round.
Right.
This motherfucker could never come out of pool play.
Mm.
And when Kansas City can't come out of pool play, who that fall back on?
Fall back on you. You put him on the map.
Right,
That's
it.
right.
Because
Yeah.
you ain't heard about them since.
The name
what
is
they say.
it still sit there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I got hit, all these other motherfucking programs come out of the blue.
Yeah.
You got MoCan, you got such and such, you got this, you got that, you got everybody. If I would have just been able to do what he got to do and pass it on to somebody else, that program could have lasted fucking ever. Everybody's program, you look at Boo Williams' program, Boo's retired.
Mhm.
They still rolling. New York Riverside still rolling.
Right. Still rolling.
I was giving him the opportunity to do what he got to do, and he just couldn't do it. And when he didn't, he was like one of them little bitches.
I mean, I gotta ask though, what made you give him the opportunity?
Because
Just because you didn't want to?
No, because he helped me out. I didn't want to go and recruit no more, so I wanted the kids that he had that I could blend in with Corleone Jerron to continue to be a top team. Kenny and Nate Johnson and Ondre was good people. They could fucking
Good
play.
talent. Right.
So when they played for me, we still won across the country. So after they left, I'm saying, okay, I don't want to coach no more. So I still got the connection. So let me to continue to pass it down. And I brought him in. And when he went to a tournament in Augusta, one of the biggest tournaments in Nike, when he got blew out 40 points both times, I get a call from Nike. Piggie, what the fuck you doing? You don't fucking send nobody down here that fucking can't coach. I wasn't gonna go back, so I fired him. When I fired him, hell broke out. He wasn't enjoying time. And that's when they started fucking investigating me.
Okay. Man, okay.
That's a lot, right?
That's a lot
Yeah.
to take. So my next question with that is, from there, now where did you go?
I went back to where I was from.
Okay.
Fuck, it wasn't nowhere to go. I owned the business in the inner city.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, I had money.
Right.
Right.
So what I did was I just fucking shut everything down. And next thing you know, I'm sitting up here getting a fucking call for 2 weeks. Private call. And I don't answer fucking private calls.
Right.
So one fucking morning I just decided to answer this fucking call. Fucking FBI agent.
What year is this? About what year?
99, something.
2000,
Like
that's
that.
what I was thinking. Okay.
Special agent such and such. I said, what the fuck you want? We about to indict you on fucking basketball. We're not coming to your house because we know how you do. We might have a shootout. We're not coming in. Giving you 2 weeks to turn yourself in. For what? Basketball. What? We indict you under fraud in the government for paying kids to play basketball. Okay, motherfucker, I'll be there. There it is.
Now, before this, was it an official rule that that you couldn't do that, or like had this
First
ever
of
been
all, the
heard of
kids didn't
before?
get fucking paid. They had an indictment where I was giving kids 30,000, shoebox 40,000. Fuck. You give a fucking 16-year-old kid 30,000. What the fuck you think he gonna do with it?
Right.
Everybody in the world gonna know that.
Yeah.
Fucking kids wasn't worth that. You know what I'm saying? They just came up with numbers. They had to make it look good. Again, when a motherfucker write a pen, the pen's powerful. And what the black community did, they bit that shit and they took it in. And they fucking blackballed me. And you know what? Kids are getting fucking paid all over the country now.
Yeah.
Because I was
They got that NIL.
I
It was before
my
the time. Yeah.
So I don't regret that shit. I don't regret that. Only thing I do, what I hate is the players.
Yeah.
No, that's
Yeah.
now
Let's-
my
yeah.
last
The
couple of questions
the players.
is about.
When I say the players, not the
they
basketball players.
Oh, that's what I thought you were talking about.
No, not the basketball players. When I say the players, fucking Tom and Al. That's who did that.
Yo, I know what you said. Who you hate? Just so I understand you talking about.
I thought he was talking about he hated for the players.
Nah, he
I
talking
do
about,
hate it for the players.
hate
because,
what happened to
because
the
I had a
players.
system set up where
Yeah.
my kids, everybody in my fucking in my organization, colleges was knocking on the door. If you didn't get a D1, you got a D2 scholarship. When you knock that out, you knock my fucking kids out. I hate that because what you did was you fucking destroyed my program because of your selfishness. And then it was about Jerron and the kids. Jerron's a good kid, and he was the best fucking player in that era for his basketball. But the kid still didn't make it.
I was going to ask about that. And this is a
Sure.
hard question to ask.
About Teron?
Because a lot of statements and stuff I read, they attribute Jerron not making it to you.
Even when I first read it, I asked the question.
She asked me that. And we had a back and forth about that not
Was
being
Jerron,
true.
yeah.
But I'm asking that to you because they attribute that. Like I said, it's a lot of stuff written. That don't mean it's true, and that don't mean that that's the problem. But they
Come on, man,
attribute
don't do
that.
Fuck. Don't do that. I mean,
Listen.
let me tell you something. When people talk about people say anything and everything about me. Yeah, street dude, gangster, killer. You know what? I'll take that. But fucking tell the truth about me. When you don't tell the truth about me, I'm not taking that. How was it because I didn't make it? But you know what? I'm gonna tell you, I didn't do your fucking research.
Well, I did.
No,
research.
have Have you seen a video with Jerron saying I never paid him?
Have I seen the video
Yeah.
with that? No, I haven't seen the video.
No, hold.
No, I haven't seen the video,
Okay.
but I've heard that he said
Right.
that.
No, well, have you seen the video where Kareem said I never got paid?
Oh, that's on.
No, I've seen several
on,
things with
No,
Kareem
no,
saying
but
that.
have
on
you
Piggie.
seen the video
That's
with
on
me
Piggie
and
versus
with
the
me and
States.
Jerron them talking?
Yeah.
Listen to me. I have
Yeah.
not seen the video
Okay,
with
well,
Jerron.
come
I've
on,
seen the
come
video
on.
with
I seen
Kareem,
the
but I've
video
seen
with
things
both
written
Jerron
that
and
they
Kareem.
said that
That's
they
on
did
Piggie
not
versus
do
the
that.
State.
But I've seen other things. I know some things even about Jerron missing his tryouts and other stuff that don't have nothing to do with you. So I understand
but
that.
then
So
if
the
you
question
do that,
was,
how is it where I didn't make it? How did I got it where I didn't make it?
so the question
That's
didn't
what-
come because I'm asking you that personally.
No,
It's just in media
bottom-
that's what's coming out, and I'm
bottom-
giving you a chance to
bottom-
speak on it.
Bottom line is this: I don't want to do that because at the end of the day, Jerron was a good kid.
I believe that.
He was a good kid,
Still a good person today.
very good person.
Yeah.
Jerron was a kid and he didn't know no better. He got put in an environment that he couldn't control.
Yeah.
It's just like you or her, y'all from the streets. Y'all get in an environment where when you at your real parents' house, y'all have nothing to eat. Y'all have no clothes. Y'all have no TV. Then you get in an environment where you got big screens, you got phones, you got a refrigerator where you go in and open up the door and get anything you want to get.
Yeah.
You got fucking alcohol and yang.
Now this is gonna lead me to my next question. Keep going.
You know what I'm saying? So now you went from this life to that life. And then you gotta realize it's a black kid. This kid ain't never experienced that. So now, not only that, the kid is hanging out with other rich kids. And these rich kids have fucking got everything in the world. And they drinking, they kicking it, they fucking, they doing everything. Who gonna tell him no? He ain't gonna listen to a white man. Because you know why? White men don't know how to discipline a black kid. He gonna listen to me. Because I'm a black man and I got a family and I know how to discipline kids. Jerron was destroyed by that fucking environment that he lived in.
Mm-hmm.
You can't blame that on nobody but whoever put him in that environment.
Yeah.
Okay? Simple as that.
That leads me to this question.
It's real.
Because I don't, not just me, but a lot of people, a lot of things is written about the situation that with the indictment and with things, you're the only person that was part of this indictment. You're the only one. There was no others from the other coaches, from the financier of the program, even to the person whose house he was going over, staying and eating food and the refrigerator being full and all these things from these other people. Like, there was only one person in all of these things, not even the Nike representatives, the agent, none of them received time or none of it. The only person received time was you.
Bro, let me tell you this. First of all, ask the question, do you know the law? The law is this. I was indicted for conspiracy. You know what the conspiracy law is? Do you know? You asked the question, do you know?
Yeah, I don't think so because
No, you
conspiracy did never. I never seen conspiracy with one person.
Yeah, let me tell you something, law. Conspiracy law is this. It takes 2 or 3 to conspire on a fucking crime.
Correct. That's why I said I never seen conspiracy with one
no,
person.
No. Okay? So, how in the hell can I conspire by my fucking self? Now, you read the article. Did you read the article when the fucking district attorney said he came in there and he wouldn't give up nobody?
Yeah.
I never would give up no fucking body. I wasn't gonna destroy no other fucking families. Why should I do that? Because of these bitch ass motherfuckers. Excuse my language. I was built different. You hit me, give me my fucking time. I could have brought a whole fucking empire down. I'm not built like that. Conspiracy law is this. It takes 2 and 3 to conspire for conspiracy. I pled guilty to conspiracy. Now, how could one motherfucker conspire by itself? You know what it is? Fucking politics. Fucking, I'm a black criminal, gangster, crack dealer, like you said.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Well, you saying in the paper.
Yeah, the paper said that.
Read.
Right.
They can get that out. You know why? Because the fucking black community ain't gonna fucking stand up for me. That's how they got that shit out.
I can't help
Conspiracy is 2 or 3 conspire.
Correct.
I pled guilty to conspiracy. Why did nobody else get charged?
That's my question.
Again,
That's
there
what I'm
it is.
asking.
That's the answer.
Yeah.
Why you keep saying that the black community wouldn't stand up for you?
Because
you said it more than once.
Because at the end of the day, I did so much to the basketball community, and when I got it, even with nobody, it was only one man that stood up for me. Calvin Wainwright.
Okay. Like, who is it?
And he came to my offense, and which I don't need nobody to stand up for me. Even when I got out, I went and tried to bring back to the community. But nobody even fucking hired me. You know why? Because people, when black people in charge and they doing good, they don't want no controversy that's gonna mess up their fucking household or their finances.
You feel like your peers turning back on you?
I don't have no fucking peers. I'm my fucking peers.
Yeah.
I'm me. When I was on the fucking streets, I did work by myself. Guys get fucking credit on, oh, they tough guys, they had this, they had all these guys. When I went and did damage, I did damage by my fucking self. You know why? Because I knew that I can do it. I don't need no other people to fight for me. That's when I say, people say, oh, this guy, oh, Wyandotte, Kansas City, you even go to New York, you go here. Guys who was about something, or who they say was about something, look who they had around them. They didn't do shit themselves. They had everybody else doing their shit. I did shit by my fucking self, because I'm not going to tell on my motherfucking self. That's what set me from different. Am I a angel? No, I'm not an angel, but you know what? When I go in before the God gonna respect what I did. Because I never ever hurt nobody, and I treated people the way I wanted to be treated. But if you mess with me, you're gonna pay me. I'm just real, man. I can't sugarcoat nothing. I can't kiss nobody's ass. When I go to sleep, I go to fucking sleep. You know why?
Yeah, so that was one of my questions. Like,
when I go to sleep,
are you happy?
When I go to sleep, am I happy? I'm at peace.
You at peace.
That's different.
Because I know one thing about me.
Peace is different.
Can't nobody say that I fucked them.
Right.
And did them wrong. Now, I did a lot of motherfucking things in the past that I'm not proud of, that I was taught to do.
That's different.
That's my whole different life. Because, yeah, fuck, I was a street goer. I was a fucking gangster. Yeah. I'm 61 years old. Ain't no motherfucker ever whooped me in a fucking hand fight ever. And niggas will tell you I was the best hand fighter in the world, in the city. I went to every fucking area. No one ever whooped my ass, and no one would ever whoop my fucking ass. But at the end of the day, I kept it real. Only reason why nobody else fucking indicted or whatever, because I didn't tell on no fucking body. And you know what? It wasn't fucking nothing to tell on nobody. Because I never fucking paid nobody to do nothing. These kids play for me because they wanted to play for me. That's the bottom line. You know? And the thing is, I have a hard time talking to people because people look at me like I might be an asshole. I'm not a fucking asshole. I'm fucking real.
Yeah.
I'm fucking real. Yeah. It hurts me how people treat me and think of who I am. I'm me.
Yeah.
I'm fucking me. I don't give a fuck about nobody else, but I'm gonna treat you the way I want to be treated. If you treat me wrong, I'm gonna fucking get you. Bottom line, if you don't like it, fuck it. I'm not gonna fucking apologize to nobody. Only one fucking person created me. And that's who I'm gonna answer to. It's him. I ain't gonna answer to no fucking body else. I stay in my lane, don't get in my fucking lane. Cause you do, I'll get you. And that's just how I'm built. That's why I don't fuck with people, I don't hang out with people, and I try to not, I don't even really like fucking people, but I have to like you because God liked me and loved me. I mean, I don't know what you want from me. I mean, that's me.
At this time, what we want to do, I appreciate you being candid now. At this time, what we want to do for our last couple of minutes is we want to talk about this documentary that's coming out. And we want to bring Joe out to come be a part of this and talk about what's going on with this documentary. We appreciate your candor. We appreciate you being real with us. We appreciate you opening up and talking to us.
It's just being real, man. You get to the point where you see all these guys, New York, LA, Miami, these guys wasn't fucking real. They don't know nothing about us. That's why this shit, Kansas City, need to blow up. They need to fucking be real. We real. I'm real. You can go in the streets and say, hey, Myron Piggie. People will tell you, he wasn't a bad guy, don't fuck with him. I'm real as they come. You put me in a fucking tank with any tough dude that they say, and he ain't coming out. Cause I'm gonna win. And I appreciate Joe and everybody.
Well, Piggy, that's why we wanted to give you some oxygen today, man. Because we believe the fact of you're not a bad person. That's our belief. We also believe that what you have done for the youth, for our city, putting Kansas City on the map, for the kids here, for the athletes, for the growth of the sport, we think you did a lot. So we appreciate that, and we want to give you some oxygen for that. And we want an opportunity for this to be a platform for that story to come out.
Appreciate it.
It's always so refreshing to see somebody speak truth to power, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No holds barred, no inhibitions. Like it's raw. It is real. It's what's necessary, and people don't be ready for it, and they don't want it. But man, I'm so glad that you came and gave it no matter what.
But you know the thing, I'm just gonna say this. The thing is, you look at Trump. He go out here and speak all this fucking, and everybody praise him. You know what I'm saying? That shit ain't real. They agree with that shit. But let's agree with the real shit in our inner city. I sit up here and I tell people, let's sit up here and let's have some fucking conversation with these youth. Real conversations. You know what I'm saying? I don't knock people who was counselors. I don't knock people who went to school for that. But if you ain't never been in a fucking shootout, you ain't never been in a fucking penitentiary, you ain't never sold dope, how can you speak to a fucking kid real?
Mm-hmm.
You can't.
Right. It's impossible.
It's impossible. You have to experience that shit to speak on that shit.
Yeah.
You have to.
You right. Let's bring Joe out and let's talk a little bit about
me leave.
this
you right
the
here.
documentary come. Here he come. Here he is. He here. He slide.
Did
Nah, this is my man. When I say like, for me, it's just important that like we focus on. It's, you know, even we always hear about Kansas City crab in a barrel mentality. Like, it's for me, it's time for us to get out of that. If we ever gonna choose to grow, we ever gonna choose to really put our city on the map, we got to come together. And it's enough money, it's enough room, it's enough houses, it's enough land for everybody to get a piece of the pie. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, unfortunately, some of the stuff that went down in that time, it affected not. It doesn't just affect. I don't think people realize how much it affected Myron, of course, Pig, but it affected us too. It changed the whole demographic of where we could go for sports, or how people viewed what we were doing. Were you a part of that? When I went out to college to play my first freshman year, hey, we need to make sure. It was always those kind of things, and just put a bad stigma on, and on the city. When really it's just like, ain't nothing new under the sun. And I'm glad he brought up the Trump situation, because, you know, we see people get away with so much stuff. I mean, billions of dollars. And they take from people over and over and over again and don't even touch 5-10 minutes in the cell. You feel what I'm saying? So I think it was important for us to tell have this documentary, because there is a lot of stories out there, and we all know that at the end of the day, it's a lot of stories, but it's the stories, somebody's truth, but it's the truth, the real truth. So we wanted to focus on that, and that's kind of where we at with the whole thing.
You know, and the thing, I'm gonna say one more thing. After 21 years that I've been off with, I've been dealing with the Fed since '87. Do you know they knocked on my door 3 months ago?
3 months ago.
Let me tell you what they did. They hit me with $350,000 restitution. They knocked on my door where I work at and say, hey, I want 25% of his salary. They take $280 a week out of my fucking check. Starting 3 months ago for that.
Are you serious?
And people getting paid right now. So if I quit today, they wouldn't get shit. But that's how bad that they hate me. Today they still taking money. They came and knocked on my door and they taking 25% of my salary.
So
every week.
You went to you went to jail. You went to prison. On top of the prison, now they coming back.
21 years later.
21 years later, they taking 25% of your salary.
Yeah, $280 a week. I get paid every
For
week.
how much restitution?
$350,000.
And that's the thing that's crazy to me, because, I mean, as we see now, the narrative of getting paid is totally different now. So now we got Pig who spent time in jail and still getting hit with stuff. But kids getting paid now for their likeness, right?
Yeah, name, image, and likeness.
And what's crazy is they should have been.
Should have been. Like, we talk about this all the time, and we didn't, I think, as kids, you growing up, we just want to hoop, right? When you get to college, some of the older kids, they start telling, hey, if we make it to the NCAA tournament, that the school automatically gets $1 million. You're like, what?
That's why in that article, the guy was like,
yeah,
ain't none of these colleges at the mailbox waiting on my money. But you know what? There's some fucking body at the attorney general office is. Because you know what? It come down to the whole key was destroy me as a black man the rest of my fucking life.
Seeing that.
That piece.
That's the piece
That's
of it
crazy.
that's sickening, right? Because
people getting paid.
If you dig below the surface just a little bit, then
They
it
just
becomes
couldn't get me
clear
on a
that
lot of stuff, and they still gotta keep it. There's just some things that I couldn't go into, and it's deeper.
Yeah.
And they couldn't get me on.
My
And their
gosh,
bottom
man.
line is they always wanted to keep me. I remember when the FBI arrested me one time, they was like, move. I'll shoot you in the fucking head. Because we want you dead.
I don't even want to ask you.
Yeah.
You know? It's
But
just,
that's
It's all
why.
good.
That's why, like, the documentary need to be shot. You know, it's time to, you know, like, let's really talk about it. And it's gonna be hard conversations. We are plagued right now to have hard conversations in everything that we do, whether it be race, black or white, or, you know, Latino or Asian. We have to have the hard conversations.
Got to.
We have to, you know, be able to say, look, I posted something the other day. It said hard conversation. It don't mean if we have a hard conversation, we fall out, and that means that you want it to fall out. And sometimes people just want to fall out because they don't want to deal with the situations at
take a
hand.
lot.
But I want
It's
y'all to have
heavy.
hard conversations because I'm older now, but y'all need to have conversations. Y'all need to step back the way they step. At the end of the day, you know what? Let's do what we gotta do. This podcast and everything, if I died in jail tomorrow, everybody was like, hey, he was this. I don't wanna do that. Let's make this happen. At the end of the day, if this podcast or my documentary blow up, everybody's involved, from this person, that person. I want everybody to be able to be beneficial. I don't want to just be beneficial. I don't want to say, hey, he made this and we made. No, let's make it together. That's just how I am. Let's push this. Let's push this around Kansas City. I'm like, hey, let's have that meet and greet. Let people know what's happening.
Yeah.
Let's know that, and black people got to quit going against each other.
Facts.
Because if you see a white man come and got millions of dollars, don't go on his side because you ain't got no dollars. Stop that.
And that's also dealing
One of
with
the things I was really confused about when researching and going is that one of the charges was defrauding universities. And I didn't understand it.
Well,
I'm like looking at it and I'm trying to figure out what constitutes defrauding
Well, hold on.
universities.
I'm gonna explain it to you.
Okay.
You got a letter of intent, right?
Mm-hmm.
They signed a letter of intent to that university. When they put it in that mailbox, which is government property, that's what it came to fraud the university, because they said I paid players and I defrauded the university when they signed that contract and put it in the mail.
Whoa.
Wow. Okay.
See, people don't know that.
Wow.
People,
With no proof that they ever even received it.
no,
They
that's
get
that's
offer
fraud.
letters.
That's fraud. You once you touch that mailbox, U.S. government property, I frauded the university because I gave the kid $20.
Whoa, why did that touch my soul so deeply?
That's crazy.
That's fraud the
Like,
university.
fucking for real?
So they said
But let me
by
ask you
signing
this.
the letter of intent, they made false statements.
Yes.
They said.
Yes. Let me tell you
Oh,
this.
that's
But what about
crazy.
Bill Self is serving for
again.
okay.
Now let's
He-
talk about. I don't
Hold
remember
it,
his name.
hold it,
The
buddy.
coach.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the other
Rick
coach.
Pitino.
Not him. I'm talking about the coach who was AAU that became a agent.
Agent. Yeah.
There was a coach, I'm trying to think of his name, but he was
hold on,
an
let me-
AAU coach, then became an
But
agent
hold,
of his players.
let me tell you this. Let me tell you this.
Boy, I wish I could remember.
The guy, Troy Weaver is the head coach. I mean, Troy Weaver is the general manager of the Detroit Pistons. Me and Troy Weaver coached AAU against. He had Kevin Durant and all them dudes. He's the head coach. He's the general manager of the Detroit Pistons.
Mm-hmm.
He did the same thing that I did. You know what the difference was? Washington, New York, Miami, and all them don't give a fuck. We in the fucking redneck politics, and I don't give a fuck because I'm not prejudiced. But the bottom line is this. People don't understand what really happened here. You know what happened here? A fucking rich white man, and I'm not
This is what I
prejudiced.
was trying to
Hold it. A rich white man fell out with a fucking gangster, street guy. And I don't want to consider myself as a gangster, although you can put me there, but I don't consider myself as that. Listen, he was scared that when we fell out that I was gonna kill him and his family. It was in paperwork. See, y'all ain't got that. But let me tell you something else. That's why he went to an investigator to cover himself, because he thought I was gonna kill him and his family after we fell out. It was the FBI. It was a shit deeper than anything. He paid an investigator to try to get me. The investigator couldn't get me. He paid him $1 million. He couldn't get me. He killed himself.
Is this the dude you was saying all the money traced back to?
Yes, he killed himself. No, he didn't kill himself, but I'm talking about the investigator that he hired. He killed himself. See, people don't know it's layers and layers of this shit. So when he killed himself, they was like, okay, how do we get this motherfucker? That's when they went up and got the gun to be able to make themselves look good. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta look at shit, man. People don't understand.
They only put bits and pieces
Let
of
me
it
tell you
all.
something. When rich white people want to get protective, we protect them. And when motherfuckers write when they put that pen on you, they put that pen on you, man. And if they tell you Myron Piggie's a fucking thug and a gangster, and he write about it enough, you're gonna look at me like, this motherfucker is a fucking gangster.
This why your
Okay,
interviews
I am.
so much, though.
I'm not a fucking. Do I ever have who I am? I don't have who I am. I lived in the fucking projects. My fucking brother was a fucking hit man. I was a fucking hit man. I don't knock who we was. That was our environment. But don't hit me with something that I didn't do.
Right.
Because you scared of me. If a black man was scared of me, they didn't give a fuck. But if a white man was scared of me, they did. That's what it come down to. And no disrespect to you, young blood.
I look at it because one of the things that came across was the fact that, you know, what was the real important question? I see what he going.
Beat up on me, man.
What was the real important questions, you know, about this indictment and what was going on, and then the fact that, you know, they say, you know, that you monopolizing on kids, but what do the what was the universities doing?
But you know what? At the end of the day, I changed the whole.
The game.
I changed the game.
I mean, you did. It's NIL.
I
I think it's
changed the
NIL
game.
because of your.
Because
I think NIL now today is because of what they say. The Godfather and you pay to play the whole thing.
Y'all gotta say that.
But you know what?
Name, image, and likeness.
It's just a game. The game was. I changed the game, but you know what? It got to the point where now they had to go with what I did or what they said I did. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So why wouldn't you and your compadres and your crew? Why don't we take advantage of that? Why don't we push that? Why would we let this story lie dead when everybody up here? Let's benefit off of their motherfucking mistake, because it's their mistake.
And what my biggest point to it is they just it's not like they stopped. They just found more creative. They got more creative. The way they did it, and more structured. You know what happened back then? They were like, oh, this is what we can pinpoint this. They just maneuvered and found other ways to do certain.
Because he said he pled guilty to conspiracy, man. It take 2 or 3. It ain't no way this man moving like this on his own.
Yeah, go look at the law. One thing I'm not gonna ever do is lie to y'all. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna always be upfront. What you see with me is what you get. Okay? Look at the law. Look it up. Conspiracy take 2 or 3 to conspire.
I do know.
And you know what? And you know what I'm telling you this? If she shoot, if y'all conspire, y'all 3, and she shoot and kill me, guess who's gonna get more time? You 2. Conspiracy carry more time than the actual actual
Because
crime.
it's the intellectual property.
Yeah.
That's where the money is.
Hey,
That's in jail.
it carry more time. She's
makes
gonna
sense.
get less time than you two because y'all conspired with her.
Which is why Marilyn Manson went
Yeah.
like he did.
So
You know
you
what
gotta
I'm
know
saying?
the law.
Yeah.
Right.
Conspiracy carry more time than the actual crime.
It's crazy. This
It's
documentary is important. I'm not in here.
It is
I'm out
important.
here too.
Now,
No, come on.
all right,
Let's-
before you go,
Oh.
before you go, we go. He left before he was supposed to leave, because we were supposed to get a couple things just to make sure that we know, you know, that this documentary, I think it's called The Epic Story of Myron Piggie Sr. Is that correct? All right. We want to also say that, you know, you can understand that the music in it's gonna be done by Joe Black. You know what I'm saying?
What
It's
kind of
just-
music Joe Black gonna
there we
put
go.
down?
Well, I don't know.
Jazz.
He
Jazz.
and they say he gonna put that music in there you like. That's what
He
they
don't
say.
know what I like.
That's what they said. And then I gotta shoot this out too. It's gonna be filmed and produced by Darren Kobe. Am I saying it correct?
That's the man right
Darren
there.
Kobe, right? Okay, my man out there.
Let me see.
Okay, and that's
You can run, but you can't hide.
Connect, right? Connect KC. Okay, Connect KC. I want to make sure
I
I
got
said
something
that
for you.
correct. All
I
right.
got
So it's coming out. All right. So you be on the lookout for it coming out. The documentary,
You do good
the epic story of Myron
You do good
Piggie. See, he in
financially.
here macking while we doing our time. Mac.
Can I
He's
put
a
it-
Mac.
Can I
Okay.
put his towels in
But
there?
let me put a few things on there so we finish it up as we go, because we're at the end before we end out.
Okay.
I to make sure you understand that we are here at the Boho Sway at the Canary. All right, 3835 Main. Guess what? November the 25th, they got a soft opening. It's a social event on November the 26th, and the grand opening is December the 1st.
Who's
So
on
come
that
out.
grand opening?
Grand opening is here. We all gonna be here.
I ain't gonna be
You
here.
ain't gonna be
I
here?
ain't invited,
You
Joe.
invited,
you
man.
ain't invited.
This is
No, you ain't
the
invited.
invitation, man. This is invitation, Piggy. You invited.
No.
The grand opening on
Hey,
December
Joe,
the
you a
1st right
scrub,
here,
man. You a scrub.
Ah,
man.
Joe, you ain't invited, man. I can't believe it, man.
Hey, it's supposed to be a meet
We
and
here.
greet, man. Joe supposed to step up and meet and greet. We
Man.
supposed to have some.
We here. Boho Square at the Canary. The restaurant's open. December 1st is the grand opening. Make sure you come out. All right. I cannot forget another one of our sponsors. You know, I call them a sponsor. Really, it's our I can't even remember what I thought. Y'all got me flipped out. We didn't go. Moving on. But it's family. It's love. You know what I'm saying? It's our community partnerships. It's with 1739 Gallery. That's normally the home of the Evening Social Podcast.
Now
the
we at the
1739
Canary.
Gallery. Tonight was just that exclusive. That's why we
Yeah.
came here, because they opened it.
Praise
But
God.
be sure to check
Hallelujah.
out 1739 Gallery. And then also the grocery shop there. It's the home of your art cannabis shop. All right.
Listen.
So make
Amen.
sure you don't forget
Shout
that.
out to the
there.
grocery shop.
Art cannabis culture.
My favorite
Always
place to
there.
be.
Now, the other thing that I got to make sure that we mention is please, please, please come out and make sure that you subscribe to Jenee Klub TV and subscribe to our Evening Social Podcast. All right, we're on all social media platforms. Now, Mark, we appreciate you being here.
Amen.
Thank you for being candid.
Yeah.
Once again, everybody that's in here, please give an opportunity to show Myron this oxygen that he needs for today, for what he's done for our community.
I want y'all to post everything.
Now we gonna
Wherever Joe wanna post.
Listen,
This is about
I
to be
shared the
so
first one that
crazy.
he did. I shared it when he was over there telling you, man, I got 40 something shared. I was wanting to share it. We sharing whatever he does.
Share it
You know
with
what
me
I'm
too.
saying? We gonna
If it
share.
ain't on my
After you
phone,
get your
Well, I'm
profile
just saying
picture.
if it ain't on my phone, it ain't
But that's the
important.
thing. If you don't, if you, but that's what I was gonna say. If you don't have us on your friend list and don't
Let him
friend
get a
us,
profile
That's his
we
picture.
can't do that. That's his fault. We gonna get on him then. We gonna get on
That's
him.
on his fault.
You know,
But hey, I want seriously, y'all. I'm not saying it because it's me. I'm saying this because Kansas City have a history. Everybody think that New York and everybody else is better than us.
No, I don't.
Hold on, let me just. I'm not saying that. but let's blow this thing out of the water. Let's get a team together, blow this out of the water. Let's put this on national alert.
Sir.
Okay?
Oh.
Let's do this, because at the end of the day, I don't give a damn what nobody say. The baddest and the toughest nigga, excuse my language, out of any city at my time couldn't hang with me. And you know what? I guarantee you they had somebody doing their work. They never did their work themselves until they had people around them. So at the end of the day, I just thank God bless me because making me be one of a kind. And when I walk in God's house, I'm gonna walk in there and I know I'm going to heaven. I might have did some things, but I know one thing about it. He gave me an opportunity to repent and redo myself. And I appreciate y'all too. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, everybody, Darren and Young Blood over there. Let's make this thing happen. So when I wake up, I want to see some hits. Put it out there. Let's make it happen.
It's on there. We going. We running it up.
Joe, don't drag your feet, man. Quit being weak. Hey, because I know you from the dot. Quit being weak, man.
Don't do that. Hold on, Joe. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I gotta do it. Hey,
do that.
I'm from the Show Me States. Show me.
Okay, well, we gonna show. So now we starting a new hashtag. Piggy run it up. Piggy run it up.
Hashtag Piggy's the man.
All right, here we go. All right, we appreciate everything. I am Coach Mo.
Hey, my man, Coach Mo.
We here.
Jenee, hey, man.
We thank you. We appreciate it. We love you for being here. All right, we thank you for being here. Hey.
It's been nice.
It has been. This is an exclusive. You ain't gonna get too many like this. This is exclusive and a whole nother, element. So, with much more being said, we'll catch you next time. We out.
Peace and love.